Hey everybody, Jim here. We're getting ready to go on vacation, driving down from Pennsylvania to Orlando, spend a week at Disney World, hoping to do some photo walks, taking some video and photos on vacation. But the weather. So there's a huge northeaster coming through, and it's going to kind of affect the entire 95 corridor. From Saturday through Sunday. So we were planning on checking in, and we're still checking in, hopefully, to our Disney resort on Sunday. But we're going to have to change our plan slightly to deal with this weather and drive down earlier. So we're planning, and we were originally planning on leaving Saturday morning. That's going to change. We're now going to leave Friday afternoon. The idea being race against time. Get that as furthest south as we can on Friday before the storm hits. Sounds like ice in Richmond and above starting early Saturday morning. So we need to be, even in North Carolina, it sounds like. So we need to be as far south as we can by Friday evening. So we're hoping to get to North Carolina, even South Carolina by Friday night. Get a hotel room, then we'll reassess, see what the weather is going on, what the, how bad rain and flooding is on the road from there, and kind of keep moving forward as we can. But the idea being we need to get as far south as we can before this thing hits. So we're going to go ahead and video it and show how we handle dealing with this drive down, also with the with our electric car and dealing with charging the Tesla. We have a Model Y, so we'll show you our experience with charging as well, and hopefully the weather holds. We get down early enough, and there's no real issues in terms of flooding as well. So stay tuned. Hope you follow along, and we'll talk to you later.
We left around 12 noon on Friday and headed towards the PA Turnpike. The weather was good, sunny, 38 degrees Fahrenheit. First leg of our trip would be south down the Turnpike and hook up with 95 around Philly and take that all the way to Florida. We charged the car in the morning to 95% so that the batteries were warm when we left home. With proper air pressure and a warm battery to start, we were able to get down past Washington, D.C. before we had to stop for our first charge. We did pretty well for our first leg of the trip. The traffic was not bad, and we made it 172 miles to the Chevy Chase, Maryland supercharger. When traveling to Florida down 95, the DC section is the area you need to focus the most when finding chargers. The traffic can be bad, and the chargers can be located further from the highway and in crowded areas. We always try to charge before or after the DC area and be aware of how far off the highway the charger is. The Chevy Chase Tesla Superchargers is not the best. They do offer 250 kilowatts and 12 stalls, but they are a few miles off the highway in a parking lot garage that is crowded and tight parking. There was a bathroom, but food option was limited to an Amazon grocery store.
We're getting 220 or so kilowatts, and we came in with about 15%, and the first one that we went to was actually was broken and not working. So, but we are charging, and we don't have that much of a wait here, so I guess we've got another 20 minutes to our next one, but we'll figure out where we're going to stop for the next stop.
In Virginia, with the sun going down, you start to see the lines of brine, mixture of salt and water put down on the road earlier in anticipation of the snow and ice coming later this evening and tomorrow morning. By 6:50 p.m. we've driven 360 miles total and 188 miles from our first charging stop to our second stop in Petersburg, Virginia. An 8-stall, 250 kilowatt stop at a 24-hour Sheetz gas station and restaurant. We were ready for a break and grab some food. We were starting to really appreciate the chargers at Sheetz rest stops. Always open with plenty of food options.
So I think we're certainly ahead in terms of schedule here to get below South Carolina before the ice hits. So far things have been going well, and we're moving pretty good. I went to the bathroom, came back, and we're already at 37% charge, and it's already starting to cut back a little bit in terms of kilowatts provided. Looks like we're doing now about 150 kilowatts. We were up above 200, but it's kind of slowing down here now that we're getting up above 38, which is a little low. We'd like to still see that up around 200 with 39-40%. But so far, doing pretty well. Hanging in there.
At 9:30 p.m. we arrived at the charging stop number 3 in Smithfield, North Carolina. By now we felt confident we were far enough south to miss the snow and ice when the storm arrives. We stopped at another Sheetz, an 8-stall 150 kilowatt supercharger. We plan on staying just long enough to get enough energy to make it to our last stop for the evening in Dillon, South Carolina.
We're going to stay here for about 10, 15 more minutes, maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah.
To get enough charge to make it to the Dillon, South Carolina. Is that in South Carolina?
I think so.
And we're still doing pretty well. So we're in middle of North Carolina now. We want to get as far south as possible with the weather, but right now the weather's been pretty good. So I think if we can make it till about 12:30, we'll then get a hotel room and be ready to get some rest and see how things are tomorrow morning.
We arrived at Dillon, South Carolina Supercharger at 11:20 p.m., our fourth and final stop for the evening. 250 kilowatts and 40 stalls. A little disappointed when we realized that we incorrectly assumed it was a Buc-ee's truck stop with 40 stalls. The huge benefit of Tesla compared to all the other EV cars is a charging network. We never have to worry about finding places to charge or if they will work when we get there.
We've done 564 miles, 185 kilowatts, 329 watts per minute.
We had about 30 miles to Florence, South Carolina, where we will stop for the evening. We'll charge just enough to get there and then top off in the morning. The Florence, South Carolina Supercharger was a couple minutes from our hotel, so we stopped there to charge up and figure out our route for the day.
If I look at the weather forecast, the rain should be done in Orlando by 1 o'clock. So I think we'll be driving out of it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
We arrived at the Summerton, South Carolina 8-stall 250 kilowatt supercharger at 10 a.m. The major portion of the storm went by while we were safely sleeping in the hotel. Getting far enough south, the temperature is now in the 50s and well above freezing. For those of you new to EV traveling and charging, you may have noticed that our stops are getting more frequent the further we go. The key is to understand that supercharging is not meant to charge your car's battery to 100%. Supercharging is meant to charge your battery to the point that you have enough electricity to make it to the next supercharger on your route until you get to your destination. The time to charge a battery fluctuates based upon the battery temperature and how full the battery is. The fluctuation is set up to protect the battery. Think of recharging your EV battery like filling a pitcher of water. At first, when the pitcher is empty, you can pour the water in fast without fear of overflowing. When you start to get over 50% in the pitcher, you start to slow down to make sure that you don't spill or overflow. For Teslas, you'll receive the most charge between 10 and 50%. The car will quickly charge to 50% within 5 to 10 minutes. You can get 200 miles in about 15 minutes. When you get past 60% of the battery charge, your time begins to slow down dramatically. The further you charge, the longer it takes.
Doing pretty well though. We're getting what? It looks like we're getting 220 or so, 220 kilowatts. It's 250 kilowatt chargers, and our next stop will be in Florida, then, right? Or no, we'll be Hardyville, South Carolina. Then we've got Jacksonville, Florida, and then we will be in Orlando.
The good news is there are so many Tesla supercharged destinations, you don't need to charge more than 50% to get to your next one. You could drive about 125 to 175 miles between stops and reduce the charging to 5 to 10 minutes for each. Just enough time to stretch, go to the bathroom, grab some food. No need to wait around 40 minutes to charge your car to 80%.
We stopped at Bridgelin, South Carolina. There are 8 250 kilowatt superchargers, and we're going. Looks like we've got about 2 more stops before we hit our Orlando destination. Just gonna hang out here for a little bit and charge up. We're doing pretty well right now. We're getting about 218 kilowatts in right now at 24%, so that's pretty good. here at Brunswick, Georgia. This is a, I don't know, about 7 to 8 stall, 8 to 10 stall, 250 superchargers, 250 kilowatt. We were getting about 230 kilowatts at the beginning. It's kind of rolled down to about 170, but doing pretty well. We're at 37% now, and we're looking to, we probably got another 20 minutes or so. We want to go to St. Augustine. So it's a long amount of charging here, so we can hit that Buc-ee's in St. Augustine.
When we arrived in Georgia, the storm had passed and we started to get better and better weather. Sun began to appear in spots and the temperature was rising. We had hardly any issues with traffic. I think the weather reports kept most people off the road. Welcome to Buc-ee's, a car driver's version of a huge 24-hour truck stop, offering drivers a convenience store with a mall and amusement park atmosphere, with food, apparel, and all sorts of roadside gifts and items. Buc-ee's is a perfect place for superchargers. They typically provide between 20 to 40 stalls, a 250 kilowatt chargers, and an easy area to park with a 24-hour store open to explore while you're charging up.
Okay, we stopped off at the Buc-ee's. Where was that one, Joanne?
St. Augustine.
St. Augustine superchargers. They looked like they had well over 20 or more 250 chargers. We charged from, we got in there with about 20%, and we charged all the way up to 90 or so. We went into the store, got some lunch. Just insane, the amount of people. Crazy how big that is. It's like a big, I don't even know what to call it. It kind of has a little of everything. But picked up some lunch, picked up some groceries, and by the time we got out, the car was pretty much filled up and ready to go. We did stop off at Costco across the street, picked up some water. So we're now headed on to Disney. So this will be our last stop. We're staying at Pop Century for the night, and then we'll be transferring over to Saratoga Springs for the week. So we've got about 2 hours to go. And how many, so what did we end up having, Joanne? About 6 stops?
I think it's more like 8.
6, 8,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9 total stops. And yeah, the traffic has been bad. The weather ended up not being a real issue. So we kind of got down,
right.
Yeah, timed it perfectly where we were able to sleep while the rain and everything kind of went over. And by the time we got up, when we had 2 hours of rain, 2 or 3 hours of rain, and it's been sunny, and now it's like 79 degrees, sunny and breezy. So great, beautiful weather. And we're excited to get to Orlando. We'll check in when we finally get to Orlando.
We arrived at Disney Pop Century Resort right at sunset. Our timing was perfect. We avoided the storm, traffic was fine, and not one issue charging in the cold or bad weather. We drove 1,045 miles, 9 charging stops, all but 2 were 250 kilowatt chargers, with an average stop of about 15 to 20 minutes. We were ready to get out and enjoy our winter vacation. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I'm planning on making more video content of our EV travel experiences. Take care and have a good day.